Within weeks of the coronavirus outbreak in the U.S., colleges home and transitioned to online classes. As students and their parents adjust to the new normal of learning online, they'll most likely question why they're paying thousands and thousands of dollars for their degrees. But instead of flattening the curve for tuition, some colleges and universities are raising the cost for the next school year. Joining us now to discuss is Eduardo Neret, digital reporter for Campus Reform. Eduardo, this is a pretty shocking report that you're sharing with on Campus Reform. Tell me about what went into this research and what you're finding from these colleges.
It is. So right now at the Leadership Institute's Campus Reform, we're monitoring a list of schools that are sticking by their tuition hikes despite the economic effects brought upon by the coronavirus. And that presents two issues. So number one, a lot of these schools have already received billions of dollars in the first round of stimulus money for their coronavirus. So for them to now turn around and raise tuition on the very American families, on the very American taxpayer who bailed them out, is not an appropriate solution. And then I think the other issue that this raises is whether these tuition hikes are going to discourage enrollment in the fall. So as it is right now, there's a poll that has shown that 1 in 6 high school seniors are reconsidering traditional college because of the coronavirus. A lot of students are coming to us saying, hey, we've been able to transition our learning to online in a span of 1 to 2 weeks. And we're starting to realize that we're spending tens of thousands of dollars on something that can be done on a computer, on something that could be done probably more cheaply. And so I think it's going to be interesting to see whether these tuition hikes lead to less students going to traditional college next fall.
We know that cost is just increasing every year, it seems. But Eduardo, do we even know if students are going back for summer sessions, for fall sessions even? I mean, we're waiting to hear when these campuses will reopen.
Yeah, and that is the big concern. So many schools right now have said they're going to continue in this online format through the summer. Some schools like Boston University just reported the other day that they're looking at a January reopening at this time. So there's a lot of uncertainty, but I think what these colleges and universities need to do is to do what American families and small businesses right now across the country are doing. So cut costs, save where you can. Instead of raising tuition on their students, colleges and universities should look at what funding is non-essential and cut it. So some schools that have done a really good job at this are Harvard University, or the University of Miami. They've announced that they're going to put a halt on construction projects. They're going to do hiring freezes. They're going to do freezes on salary increases. And they've even said, we're going to go to our donors to get us through these tough times. I think that's very important. I think other schools should follow that model instead of raising tuition on students.
Yeah, that's some good advice there. What about those students who were seniors who are looking to find a job post-grad? Have you heard from them? Have they found any success during this time?
It's tough right now. We've heard from a few of them who said they're trying to look. There's some employers that have continued their recruiting and have told people that they're going to, wait to bring them on until this is all over with. Some experts we've talked to have encouraged students to continue looking online, to continue learning new skills, to ready them when the coronavirus ends so that they'll be ready for the workforce.
We know a lot of appeal for college is the college experience, for people to pay for attending those big universities. Along with that comes great benefits, such as a really nice rec center or other college activities. Of course, we're seeing a pause on that right now. Do you think that'll change where people end up deciding to go? And how can colleges really be competitive at this point?
Well, a lot of polls right now are showing that students are saying they're going to reconsider maybe to go to a closer in-state school or community college first. And you raised some great points. Look, colleges and universities do provide a lot of nice services, whether it's the athletic facilities, whether it's these other things. But at the end of the day, these colleges and universities have to remember what they exist for, and that is to educate students. So I can't reiterate enough that they should be cutting costs in this time. One area that we've reported on over the years where we feel that schools waste money at Campus Reform is a lot of diversity initiatives. So schools across the country spend hundreds of millions of dollars on these initiatives that studies show don't really work. That's an example of something right now that could be cut. These big building projects, these athletic facilities, as you mentioned, these are areas right now that schools for the time being can pull back on. They can focus on educating, and hopefully in the future when things get better, they can reevaluate those other items.
Wow, fascinating. Eduardo, what else are you working on right now?
Well, we want to hear from students. So as I talked to you about in this interview, we want to know what students are going through. It's hard for us to be able to tell because I can't get out on the campuses as I usually do. So we're really relying on students to tell us what's going on in their Zoom and Skype classes, telling us what's going on with their programs going forward. Some students told us the other day that, as an example, their study abroad programs are being canceled for the fall semester. So schools are going through a lot of change right now. We're relying on the students to tell us what that is, and then we're hopefully going to be able to report that to the American public.
Yeah, we hope they reach out and you can share your findings with us. That's Eduardo Neret, digital reporter for Campus Reform. Thanks for joining us.